Welcome back to Nice 1983 Nintendo Collecting. Guys, welcome to Season 2. Super excited to go ahead and start this season. As you know, if you've been paying attention to the Splat Zone, we wrapped up Season 1, we're moving into Season 2, so I thought it would be nice to go ahead and take everything and push it into its second season. What that means is better quality videos, better quality production on those videos, better quality music, the whole freaking nine. So, guys, I want to kick off Season 2 with a bang. Best way to do that is with a Mario figure. So what we have here is the 30th anniversary gold Mario figure. It's from Taito, and it is a bad-ass figure. Can't wait to get this bad boy unboxed and start the review. But you know we check out the boxes before we open them. So let's go ahead and let's give this box a quick little rundown, right? Alright guys, we are back. So let's go ahead and take a look at this box. First off, I want to state that this is one of the most beautiful boxes that any Nintendo toy has ever been packaged in. This is a larger scale figure, not quite as big as the Jakks-Pacific Super Mario. That was 20 inches. I think this one's going to scale around 12 inches. And that was, an open window display. You got to see the figure, touch the figure. This is a closed display. I actually prefer this kind of display. I kind of find it weird that other people get to touch the toys that I'm about to buy before I buy them. I'm a weirdo, but it is what it is. The box here is phenomenal. Straight up phenomenal. It's got so much little details here. You see over here, you have all the classic video game art all the way up to some of the newer artwork. Right there, you got the 30th anniversary logo. You have the Taito logo. They're the ones who manufacture the toy. Used to do video games back in the day, I think. Top of the box is very pretty. There you go. You see, you got the Japanese writing. I assume that says 30th anniversary gold Mario. Mario's face on the top. Sliding over to the side, you have more of this phenomenal artwork. They released a poster that I think had this exact same artwork when I bought my game at GameStop, but neither here nor there. Taito logo, your warnings in Japanese. Here's the other side of the box. Full body picture of Mario looking clean. More great artwork. Taito logo, 30th anniversary logo. Other side and back to the front. So like I said, this box is beautiful. Has a lot of little details. So this is a box that I definitely want to keep. I'm not one for keeping boxes after I've opened the toy, but I definitely want to keep this box because it's just so pretty. Maybe I'll cut it up and display it on the wall or something, but it's a beautiful box. Taito really stepped their game up. It's crazy to think that this came out of like a claw grabber game. That being said, guys, let's go ahead and open the figure up, right? That's what we're all here to see. We want to see this figure out of the box. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to cut this box open and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back. Mario is out of the box and I gotta say, it looks great. There's a lot of little details in the sculpt that might not be appearing on the video too well, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to break them down as best as we can. First off, let's go ahead and talk about the material. So it's a really very thin Rotocom figure, very hollow. Comparing it to the Jakks-Pacific Mario, I would say that had a higher degree of plastic. I feel like if I drop this guy, he's gonna break. So I definitely want to be very careful with this figure. I know it's meant for children, but this is a handle with care figure in my opinion. He's got a little bit of articulation. His legs swivel. No bends at the knees. That's okay. Larger scale figures, we shouldn't expect bends at the knees. The arms go up and down, and he does have wrist swivels, which is nice. He's got a little bit of head movement, left and right, basically. I want to make note that moving the head is where I feel like most of the breaking will occur. I truly think that this figure is meant to be handled as a static toy. It's just really there to look nice, and it does look nice. So let's go ahead and move into the detail a little bit. So some of these things are going to be lost in translation just because I don't think the camera's going to pick them up too well. But I'm going to bring it a little bit closer so you guys can see some of the finer details. Alright, so let's start with the head. Alright, so you can see the Mario M logo at the top of the hat. There's a lot of detail in the eye sculpt. It makes me wonder if there is a classic version of this Mario around, because this, if this is a paint variant, all these details probably show up a lot better on a classic Mario. There is a lot of detail in the sculpting of the buttons. The overalls are great. There's the legs. Now, there's one thing I want to point out. As much as awesome as this figure is, there are a lot of exposed seams in the figure. And these are minor things. These don't, these really shouldn't bother me. But as an avid toy collector, little things like exposed seams bug the crap out of me. There's the wrist swivels. You see all this little detail in this figure. So if they release a classic color scheme for this figure, it would be great. So the kicker of this figure is right here on his back. The 30th anniversary logo embedded on his back, and there's the Taito logo, all this cool stuff. Like I said, I had to get real close because if I didn't, a lot of this detail gets lost in translation, and I definitely want to make sure you guys can see the detail. There's the knuckle parts of his glove. Very nice sculpt. Now this is a great Mario sculpt, one of the best I've ever seen. Like I said, Nintendo does a really good job of whoever does their quality control of making sure that all their licensees really follow the template well. So again, just a very well designed figure. So guys, now that we've seen the figure, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move into comparison time, because I definitely want to make sure we get some comparison time up in this video. Alright, so don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Alright guys, it's time for your favorite part of these videos. It's comparison time. So comparison time is such a good thing, because especially when you have larger scale figures like we have. So what we have here is the Jakks Pacific 20-inch Mario standing next to the brand new 30th anniversary Taito Mario. And immediately you should notice a huge difference in the scale. So right now, Jakks Pacific has the edge as far as the largest Mario figure that you can get on the market. Right now, you never know, somebody might be ballsy and drop a bigger Mario figure than this. And I have something else on the table. It is a gold mushroom. This is made by Tony. I brought the gold mushroom out because I wanted to compare the paint job of this mushroom to the Taito figure. So this is made by Tony, and it's a gold super mushroom. I like it because it's roughly in scale with the 12-inch Mario, but you see the difference in the paint. The super mushroom actually comes off a little darker, maybe more of a bronze. So as far as gold painting products that are coming out, there seems to, like I said, Nintendo has great quality control. It just, apparently, obviously they approved both of these types of gold coloring. I think the Mario figure does the gold coloring a little bit better. Like I said, the Super Mushroom comes off a little bit more bronze, but it's nice to see them standing together. Obviously, when I bought the gold Mario, the intent was to have it standing next to the gold mushroom. It doesn't look that bad. They do look like they belong together. And I'm a sucker for accessories, guys, so this is as close as to an accessory as I'm going to get for this figure, so I'm going to take it. Moving on, let's get a little bit more real with comparison time. Like I said before, there's a different level of plastic in the Taito figure versus the Jakks Pacific figure. Now, the Jakks Pacific figure works with a vinyl head, with a hard plastic body, vinyl hands, vinyl shoes, and hard plastic arms. The Taito figure is a very, very cheap plastic, and like I said, it's it's a prize grabber toy. This came out of a prize grabber from Japan, so you shouldn't expect that much from it other than it to look nice. But if you hear the difference versus, and you feel it, there's a texture difference between the two. Like I said, I feel like this one is much more fragile from head to toe, so I want to make sure that I place it on a high shelf, somewhere where I can't particularly reach it, because guys, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'm clumsy. I am clumsy. Ask anybody who knows me, I am clumsy. I trip, I fall downstairs, I am a clumsy human being. So figures like this are things I have to put out of my own reach. It is the only way I can have nice things. That being said, let's talk about sculpts for a minute. When we're going to compare the sculpts, the Jakks Pacific sculpt, it looks like Mario. It looks like Mario, but I do prefer the sculpt detail on the Taito figure. It's a lot more clean. The lines are better. Because it's one solid color, there's really no place for paint application errors. Like, you really can't tell on the camera, but I've got a few, paint smudges here on the knuckles and whatnot. These things matter to a toy collector, so you should know my frustration. Now, when it comes to articulation, they actually both have the same amount of articulation: head, hands, arms, wrists, and legs. But the Jakks Pacific Mario is a lot better. The arms go up and down and back and forth. Obviously the wrist swivels. The Taito figure really just has the up and down and the wrist swivels. Not an issue because, like I said, we shouldn't expect too much from a prize grabber toy, other than it to be nice to look at. I think the most disparaging thing here is the scale. They advertise this 12-inch Gold Mario as a big figure. That's nice. That's nice, but then when you look at Jakks Pacific's big figure, that is a much bigger figure. They are separated by 8 inches. And not only that, but the Jakks Pacific figure has a lot more girth to it. So, that being said, I think it's a very nice figure, but it just, for some reason, I just wanted it bigger. Like I said, guys, I'm a go big or go home kind of guy. I like my toys to be big so that when you walk in the room, you see them. This kind of accomplishes that goal, but not quite. Alright guys, so that's the comparison. Like I said, there are two different types of figures. They both have their pluses, they both have their minuses. The pluses for the Taito figure is that it actually does have the better sculpt. It is a lot more detailed. The minus is that compared to the Jakks Pacific figure, is that it is a much cheaper quality plastic, a very fragile kind of plastic. So you want to make sure that this figure, if you're going to get this figure, it is truly a display piece because of the fragility of the plastic. You want to keep it high on a shelf, especially if you're like me and you're clumsy. That's my ultimate plan. I'm going to keep it on a higher shelf, one that I just can't knock down very easily. I really, really, really wish that this was of a higher quality plastic, because this is one of those things where it would have been so much better had it been done with better plastic. I know plastic is expensive, and like I've said it before, we shouldn't expect too much from, a prize grabber toy. That being said, it's such a good sculpt. It breaks my heart to see such a good sculpt almost go to waste. But it is what it is. Guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to come back and we're going to do score time. So we'll be right back. Alright guys, it is my favorite time. It's score time. Why do I love score time so much? Because I get to tell you whether something is worth the money or not. And, I take pride in making sure that I give you all the things necessary to determine whether a figure is worthy of your collection. So let's go ahead and start with the pluses. This figure has a great sculpt. Like from top to bottom, a great sculpt. It has a lot of little detail there. Of course, on the back, the 30th anniversary logo is sitting very pretty. There's a lot of little hidden details here. I almost wish that I have seen this figure in a more traditional color scheme for Mario instead of the solid gold body. But you know, if we had got that, we'd probably see some paint application stuff like we do on the Jax figure. So I'm not too bummed out about it, and it's very nice to have a gold Mario figure added to my collection. Secondly, the thing that kills me about this is the quality of the plastic. This is something I'm going to harp on. It is very flimsy plastic. That makes this toy very fragile. Maybe not best for little hands or for clumsy people like myself. I'm going to have to put this thing on a higher shelf just to keep it out of my own reach, because I am liable to drop it, break it, because I'm clumsy. I'm just clumsy. It's a character flaw, but you know, it makes me me. That being said, the figure ultimately looks great. So, unfortunately, as far as score time, I'm going to break the individual scores down. I normally don't do that, but I have to today. As far as the way this looks, this thing gets a 9. The sculpt detail is great, but the reason I don't give it a perfect 10 is because a lot of this detail gets lost, being in that it's one solid color. It's great to have all the detail there, but because it doesn't actually need to be there, it actually hinders the figure because you can't see it. From the distance that I have the camera at now, I know a lot of these details are lost. You can barely see the M logo on the hat, so yeah, it can't give it a perfect 10 because there's a lot of hidden details here that you just can't see until you're up close and personal. As, you know, especially when you compare it to the Jax figure, which may be lacking in detail, but every single thing on the figure can be seen quite easily due to the fact that it is a multicolored figure. So I give it a 9 as far as the look. As far as the way that it feels, this hurts the figure. This hurts the figure a lot because it's such a cheap plastic. I have to give this figure a 4. It's just so fragile. I can't say that enough. It is just so fragile of a figure that I really can't give it a high score as far as that. So guys, my final score for this figure is a 6. It's not that it's a bad figure. It's a great figure. I would totally recommend this in the collection of an adult collector, not so much a child or a clumsy person. So, you know, ultimately a 6 isn't that bad. It is one of the lowest scores I've given anything we've reviewed here on the channel, but I still think it is a solid figure for any collector. It's gonna definitely stand out in my collection, especially considering that it's that one solid bold gold color. I'm loving that. I think that's gonna look great on my shelves, and it'll really, you know, stand out in comparison to the Jax specific figure, you know, which is traditional Mario. So I am very excited to see this added to my collection. Alright guys, so as always, you know you can hit me up on Twitter at Nice1983. You can hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/Nice1983, Game Collecting. Go ahead and check out the website, nice1983.wix.com/Game Collecting. As always, if you're a fan of the Splat Zones, you can always find new episodes on iTunes, Google Play Music, and Stitcher Radio. And guys, we are starting Season 2 here in October, so get ready for Season 2 of the Splat Zones. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and watch out for Amiibo Hunters on the prowl. Deuces.